In this episode, Luke finally duels against the pigeon, getting his revenge in another very weird duel, but still, well, okay, it was weird. Hey, my name is Rex, and it's time for the next episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens. This episode was a little delayed because Entame Subs, the person who's making all the subs for the episodes, took a little bit of a break over this weekend, but now we're back, and time for such an interesting episode. And again, unfortunately, it was a funnier episode like this. Kind of, I guess, similar to the last one. But again, I think this one, honestly enough, was kind of built up from previous episodes. Because now, as they're still about to go forward, Luke decides to duel against Schwer or Chevelle. Which, interesting, I happened to look his name up, and depending on who's translating it, it could be Schwer or Chevelle, but this very interesting guy with a pigeon on his shoulder, and he reveals that the pigeon, whose name is Doverap, is going to be dueling instead, and that he's going to be moving all the cards and interpreting, and things get even wilder from there, because, you know, during this whole duel, they're taunting Luke, basically. They're throwing a bunch of, not insults, but just really throwing him off his game, which, you know, is kind of interesting to see, because we sort of saw something similar-ish to that with Schrodinger the cat, right? And that this really is kind of Luke's weakness, just duels that kind of make no sense, especially because, you know, the pigeon keeps taunting him. We even get a Star Wars reference in there, which is pretty nice, but and especially as the duel begins, things are very weird. Again, you know, Schwer being very eccentric with Doverap. Both of them are like such a weird combo, but it's funny to see. So how the actual duel goes is that there are a bunch of traps, right? Now we see from Doverap that he uses winged beast monsters and a lot of trap cards, which apparently, and you know, all the trap cards are heart themed. So, and apparently this is, you know, probably a pun, because I know that Doverap, you know, his actual name in the Japanese is Hatorap, something like that. And I know Hato is the name for, or the word for pigeon, and it's also kind of how you say heart, and they're spelled differently, I think. And so it sounds like, you know, heart trap, but that's like heart and trap, but that's his name, Hatorap, but Doverap in the English subs here, and that's a little easier to say for me. So it is kind of interesting seeing all this. We're getting this great running gag with Doverap's trap time, as he keeps activating a bunch of different traps. And again, you know, having 5 cards per turn and a field of 3x3, 3 traps per turn is quite a bit. And so on Luke's turn, he summons Shockley Dragon and Ancient Arise Dragon, which I don't think we've seen before. Forgive me if I'm mistaken, but, you know, some pretty powerful monsters, which are stopped by the traps as well. Or at least, you know, Ancient Arise Dragon is. And so then, with his next turn, with Doverap's next turn, now we get to see a little more going on with especially his ace monster, which is Pigeon Knight Night Vision. And, you know, it's also funny that now this is a little more of a serious monster, I guess, or at least a little more serious looking, but as serious as you can get with this. And, of course, there's just a lot going on, especially with all the traps. And so Luke is kind of reaching his limit with all these traps being activated, because, you know, everything he does, every monster he summons is met with a trap, whether it destroys him or whether it destroys that monster directly, or whether it inflicts any kind of damage or helps give Doverap some advantage. It's obviously pretty annoying. So Luke then goes into his sort of a trippy, depressive state, and while Schwer and Doverap are arguing as they're arguing. And what's nice is that while Luke is in this funnily animated maze, this limbo, Yuga's able to reach out to him, you know, saying, you know, things are weird, but, you know, my friends are weird too. And also reaching out to him, he's also saying, like, you know, while Luke is like, trap this, trap that, everything's a trap. And then Yuga kind of says to him, you know, aren't traps exciting though? You don't know what they could be. You know, in his typical Yuga fashion, in how he reaches people and how he's, you know, just super positive good boy. And, you know, reaching out to Luke in that, saying, you know, well, you know, it's weird, but, you know, my friends are weird too. They've got all these funny sayings like, you know, oh, I want to be the king of duels, which that reaches Luke. He's like, wait a second, that's me. That's what I say. And so he's able to come out of this, and I like that now we get to see even more of like how everybody else is reacting as well, you know, them giving a little more encouragement. I think, oh shoot, this was a long time ago. I think it was back like maybe episode 14 maybe? There was just a small nice moment in it that, you know, kind of reminded me how good friends they are. And we also get to see this now in this episode, as well as Yuga is the one to break Luke out of this and help him get back on his stride. Because, you know, once he does that, he's able to get through this duel. But like I said, it's interesting to see that this seems like Luke's kryptonite, just really weird duels that don't make sense, and that, you know, I guess that kind of works out. But again, you know, with the help of his friends, he's able to pull through it. And so now on his turn, he brings out Fantastrike Dragon Miragears, which I think this is the first time we've seen it since he got it, technically. Well, first time we've seen it in a duel against somebody else. And it's met with a trap that switches it to defense mode and inflicts 500 damage to him. But now, you know, after Luke's got his game back, this doesn't stop him, or this doesn't phase him. As now he brings out another new monster, which was Dispure Dragon, which is an interesting little thing. It's a cutesy little monster, and Roman even reacts appropriately to it. But it's not very powerful, and I think it was a level 7 as well. But it's got an interesting effect, because its effect allows it to send Miragears to the graveyard, only to special summon it back. And this brings it in, this solves the whole thing of like, you know, having it in attack mode rather than defense mode. And some interesting utility, that monster. Of course, you know, this monster, Dispure Dragon, is switched to defense mode, but it still has its effect, being able to do that. Oh, but of course, you know, the cost is that it's returned to the hand. So, you know, some interesting ways to get around certain things. Again, you know, a monster that's in defense mode. But again, so yeah, tributing 2 monsters, summon it, and then send a monster to the graveyard, return it back to the field, and then Dispure goes back to the hand. Interesting effect, like I said. But it gets over everything with this whole defense position stuff. And that also allows him to use the effects twice per turn, because he's able to use Miragear's effect to lower the attack of his, you know, of Dove Rap's monsters once, and then twice again, putting them both at 0 and allowing him to attack one. It gets its effect, so it can attack again, attack the other, and for game. So all of that just really works out extremely well in that. That's going to be an interesting monster, I guess, the Dispure Dragon, if he ends up using it anymore. But again, you know, with Fantastrike Dragon now basically being his new ace monster, it seems like, you know, that's what's going to be going forward. And, you know, with a good effect like that, it's going to be pretty cool. And with Dove Raps defeated, we get the whole emotional core to this episode, if at all, where we get a little peek into Dove Rap and Schwer, how they were apparently stuck somewhere, but were then rescued by Asana and what I assume is maybe her grandfather or maybe her father, somebody else. We don't exactly get a good look, but, you know, Asana and one of her family members. And so that gives a little more sense in why they're allied with her, why they're loyal to her. And of course, they reunite after having their argument, Dove Rap and Schwer, and now they're back together. A boy and his pigeon reunited. And of course, you know, that they don't put up much resistance to everybody else moving forward, because, you know, they lost a duel and they realized that maybe the pigeon friend we made along the way was the real treasure all along. But that's basically the episode. Fun one, definitely. Weird. And like I said, especially after last week's episode, which was also weird. You know, but now it seems like from the preview we're going to be getting into the duel already between Asana and Yuga again, because I think the title is something like Maximum Unearthed. So now we're going to get all the answers in the next episode, and probably I think it's probably going to be a 2-episode duel as well, you know, the final battle between them. At least that's what it's seeming like. But let me know what you think in the comments below. What do you think about this episode, and what are you thinking about the next episode already, kind of seeming to start up the finale of this arc here? Leave a comment below. We'll continue the discussion down there. If you like big dragons, I actually opened the Ice Barrier structure deck. It's not like a too big of a video, too important of a video, but, you know, I just shared my thoughts on it very briefly. It should be in the iCard end card as well, and maybe we'll do a few more openings here and there. But again, we're sticking to the anime currently because I'm having so much fun with this. But if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like and subscribe to show your support. You can enable notifications by clicking that bell icon next to the subscribe button. It'll make sure you see each new video as it comes out. Anyway, this has been Rex. Have a nice day.